Game time decisions for Ohio State against Purdue. We are at the Woody Hayes Athletic Center. We will be at Ross-Ade Stadium on Saturday. Ohio State's first trip there since 2018. Last couple haven't gone great for Ohio State there, going back now 20 years. It's been a tough place to play, and this team is well aware of that. So I wonder if that's going to play into how they come out and attack that game. But, Stephen, what is your game time decision, the key element to Ohio State winning this game?
Can Ohio State stay on schedule? Kyle McCord kind of talked about today how he needs to be better at keeping this team on schedule on first and second downs. I think he's been really good on third and fourth down, but it's just first and second. He hasn't been as good. Ryan Day said this on Tuesday. The goal is 4 yards on first down, whether it's by air or by land, 4 yards. When he said that, I started doing math at my seat. They have had 88 first down plays with Kyle McCord as the quarterback. 42 so far have been successful. They have reached at least 4 yards. And I think 3 of them have gone for touchdown plays. But 42 of them have been 4 yards or more. 46 of them have been failures. And to get into those numbers a little bit more, I know this is math, but sometimes we do that on Buckeye Talk. 18 have been successful on the ground. 23 have been failures on the ground. 23 have been failures through the air. And 26 have been successful through the air. So clearly they're better on first down when they throw the ball and getting at least those 4 yards. They are running the ball. Shocker. Ohio State passes it better than they run the ball. But I want to see, what do they run on first down, but also how often are they successful? Can they stay on schedule? Because if they can stay on schedule, regardless of how they do it, does that mean for a more productive offense in the first half, and it doesn't take them until midway through the third quarter to get going?
Yeah, last week on first down, I think Kyle McCord averaged like over 18 yards per attempt, which is like double what he averages on attempts for the year. Very successful on first down. I think that is something that they will probably try to do more going forward. Ohio State has to get this offensive line going. And it doesn't matter if they get it going to beat Purdue, I don't think. Purdue's not very strong defending the run. I think they'll be able to run the ball regardless. I think this has to be, though, a week where the offensive line builds some momentum that it can take into the Penn State game. There's other ways you can win this game that aren't going to reflect what it takes to beat Penn State, but that one will. I think you have to show that you can show up and move a team around, because next week the challenge is going to be much tougher, and if you can't push Purdue around, it might mean that you're the one getting pushed around by Penn State. Like, this is what this has all been building towards, and I think it's tough coming out of 20-point wins when people are sort of nitpicking one aspect of your team. But the stark reality is, if you lose one game, it changes the trajectory of everything. You may not even get a chance to play for a Big Ten championship, let alone something beyond that. And if you don't get the offensive line going and get a ground game sustaining, I think that makes it very tough to beat Penn State, who's coming to Ohio Stadium a week from Saturday. So I think they've got to I think we need to come out of Saturday. It's not really, I guess, a decision for the team. In some ways it is. It's like, can you go in and establish, either through the way this offensive line plays or the way that you approach offense by taking into account where this offensive line is right now, one of those two things, can you show more spark than you did a week earlier against Maryland? Andrew, your game time decision.
So I'm going to build off of that a little bit, and I'm going to say, how do you blend the run game and the pass game together? Because I think that when we talked to Ryan Day on Tuesday, he was talking about how he didn't believe that it was a personnel issue. He thinks that the personnel that they have is right now. Obviously, some of that could have been coach speak, could have just been defending his guys, but Justin Fry, the offensive line coach, kind of said the similar thing. He said in some spots we have competition, but in some spot there's been some separation. So it kind of sounds like you're sticking with your guys. So if you're going to stick with your guys, they said that the next thing that they could be doing better is coaching and scheme. Okay, what do? I don't know if it's exactly a, hey, we need to change up the run scheme. Hey, we need to be doing things a little bit different in the run game. I think it could also be, what can we do in the pass game that can aid our run game? Are there things that we can do that can help set up the run game for later in the game? Do we get the ball out of Kyle McCord's hands quicker? Do we run more screen plays to take some of the heat off? Like, what kind of things can you do in the pass game that can help the run game? I think everybody's looking at, what do you do in the run game? How do you fix the run game? And they're looking at the run game specifically. But if you broaden that out a little bit, I think that there's a way that you can kind of blend those two things together. You pass to set up the run, especially with this team. I think that is what they do when they are firing on all cylinders and when they are at their best. So how do you blend the pass game with the run game, and what do you do that can open some things up on the offensive side of the ball?
Yeah, I agree with that. I think it's not just, banging your head against the wall, to use a Ryan Day term, as far as the running game goes. I think it's got to be a more holistic approach to offense, some other tweaks that have to be made to take into account where the running game is right now and what else you have to be as an offense to still be productive besides that. So we're going to talk about that a lot more on Buckeye Talk the rest of this week, I'm sure. We'll be talking about it depending on what we see on Saturday from this team. So listen for that and get the text, 614-350-3315. We'll be texting you what we see on the field before the game, during the game, after the game from cleveland.com.